But you can already get some songs. Like, there are some songs, of course, where I'm like, okay, I can do this. But then there's some stuff where it's like, I was going to sing today one time with Rihanna, but I'm like, going back in time to play. Just let Daria sing. But I don't want to be like, do you want to sing some Rihanna? Like this. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be like, do this. But you already do so much. So, but I know that you want to sing and all that stuff. So just.
Okay, today our chalice at Live Oak is being lit by Rosie. And now, here and at home, let us light our chalices as we open our hearts and ears to these words. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling, how could it be so? It came without ribbons, it came without tags, it came without packages, boxes, or bags. It came, oh, and he puzzled and puzzled, till his puzzle was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. What if Christmas, he thought, doesn't come in a store? What if Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more? Dr. C. It makes me too. It does, I love it. This is a congregation bound not by creed, but by covenant. May those in agreement affirm this covenant now. We affirm a caring community of all ages. All age. Is it age or ages? We affirm a caring community of and for all age. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay. Seeking wisdom, doing service, and living with integrity. In our diversity, our covenant holds us in unity as we celebrate our shared spiritual journey. I think that's the last time I talk, and that works for me. Then I can run around and do what she says. Okay.
So fun. Okay, we gotta get into the moment. What am I even doing?
I'm gonna place you and growing tableau.
I think I'll just come up here after
Ready?
the first part stop. And then I'll go back.
Sears already dressed and staged. Obviously not that. Yes! It's back in the corner. You don't need it right now.
Dang, I don't know if I'm
Dressed and staged. Dressed and staged.
Oh, but people she told me that I didn't have some rights. That's why I was like, okay, I'll say this. But I feel you. Part of me feels like I can't.
Sorry, I was gonna read some more. Thank you. Arms crossed. Oh, arms crossed. Now I need two people to be Joseph Carpenter. Mary and Joseph.
This will be better.
Mary and Mary's baby have the birth under the ribbons with 84. Mary and Joseph. All right, because you were running one. And we got here. And when this first scene, it started, everyone got it. I reviewed my words.
How are you? I think it's gonna be fine.
Oh, fine. I just got a phone call to show me.
Oh. Sorry about that.
Hey,
But I left it out because it didn't.
no, we're not liking those yet. Oh, those. Who are you liking it for? Because you're supposed to like it. As the Oh, here, I can do that. I can light a couple pieces.
You're like,
I like it. It's cute. Yes, she did. So, make sure you get started.
no, stop. You can use this melody.
Okay, request lights, but it just doesn't get regarded.
I just need to.
Type of keep us on yeah, 237. Let's start with that one. Oh, that smell.
When it's time to volunteer.
I love that. I love that we didn't rehearse and we're all going to just follow the instructions. Oh, yeah. Oh, How about so well? You've been doing this a while. So, what is my child doing? Are they trying? Oh, I thought it was in their mouth. It looked from the angle they were at. I'm like, do they really have that in their mouth? Oh, don't set the church on fire. We'll go back here. So, when should the boy, are we sitting somewhere? Is that
Good morning. I am Chris Jarman. My pronouns are she and her, and I serve as Live Oak's Director of Lifespan Faith Development. Welcome home. Unitarian Universalism is I have to start over. You ever have one of those days? Have you ever had a day where you have to start over?
Every day.
Every day. Unitarian Universalism is unambiguously, unapologetically progressive. This church affirms the inherent worth and dignity of all people through anti-racism, anti-oppression, supporting LGBTQIA+ community, working for reproductive justice, voting rights, and other issues as needed. We seek to build beloved community not only here, but in our surrounding area. And we bring a spirit of joy to it all. And today is a particularly joyful day as we will create our Christmas pageant together. Let us begin this morning by lighting our Advent wreath. As Unitarian Universalist, Advent asks, what are we waiting for and preparing for in our own lives and in the life of our world? In this season of long nights, Advent invites us to explore the themes of hope, peace, joy, and love. On this third Sunday of Advent, we light a candle for joy. As Unitarian Universalist Eunice Wait Cobb wrote, I do not ask for this faith because I shrink from paying the great debt of nature, but I ask for it that I might have respect for myself, that I might feel life is worth living, that good is worth striving for above and beyond its mere return of earth, and above all else, I ask for that faith because it makes life grand and gives to us sublime possibility. And further, it gives a substance of joy and bliss which nothing earthly ever gave, and which nothing of earth can ever take away. How are you embracing joy? May the light of this candle this morning help us to bring more joy into the world. I now invite you in body or spirit to rise and join us in lifting our voices together with Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Good morning, everyone. We will sing our first hymn in a round, and I want that side to be our first leading group, and this will be our second following group. I will help you.
Welcome to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is April. Hi. And one thing I love about Live Oak is how inclusive it is to everyone. I'd like to welcome any guests we have today. If this is your first time here, please stop by the visitor's desk so that we can meet you and answer any questions you might have. As part of our mission, we want to enhance the connections between each of us and also with the outside world.
You can stay connected with everything happening at Live Oak through our weekly email newsletter. There's a link on our homepage. And during this worship service, no need to put away your phone. We encourage you to post on social media things you hear today. Maybe even an invitation for a friend to join you next week. Today, our chalice at Live Oak is being lit by Rosie, our angel. And now, here and at home, let us light our chalices as we open our hearts and ears to these words. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled and puzzled till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. What if Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store? What if Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more? Dr. Seuss. This is a congregation bound not by creed, but by covenant. May those in agreement affirm this covenant now. We affirm a caring community of and for all age, seeking wisdom, doing service, and living with integrity. In our diversity, our covenant holds us in unity as we celebrate our shared spiritual journey.
A special part of Unitarian Universalist Sunday services is the time of sharing of joys and sorrows. We think of it as a time when we keep vigil for one another, when we give one another the gift of being fully present to those among us who have had some special milestone in their own personal lives during the previous week, or some particular joy or sorrow that is important for the congregation to know. Today we have an announcement from Rosie. I get peppermint chocolate gelato. I had peppermint gelato, chocolate gelato yesterday. Often what is heavy on our hearts are our own fears that we have fallen short. We know we have left undone those things that we ought to have done, and done those things which we ought not to have done. May we have the courage to be honest with ourselves, the willingness to make amends, and the compassion to accept forgiveness from others and from ourselves. Trusting in the assurance that imperfection is expected and love is the guiding and healing force which we can align our lives. And now we'll sing Sanctuary. Love came down at Christmas, love all lovely, love divine. Love was born at Christmas, star and angel gave the sign. Christina Rossetti. The Christmas story is rooted in old, old tales of the winter solstice. In ancient times in Europe, when the solstice came, our distant ancestors sometimes told stories of a miraculous child born to return us to the light. Throughout the world, people tell stories of a child born to a royal family or to an important and rich family who would grow up to lead humankind into a time of truth and justice. The early Christians adapted these stories of miraculous births, but they added a twist to the old stories. Their miraculous child was not the son of a king, but was merely the son of a carpenter. He was not the son of a wealthy queen, but instead the son of a woman whose only wealth was her morality. And that Christian story has been told and retold and retold innumerable times since those early Christians first began telling it 2,000 years ago. This morning, we are going to recreate the old story of the miraculous birth of Jesus using our Unitarian Universalist sources. We'll draw on two early accounts of Jesus' birth from the books of Matthew and Luke. And drawing from our Judeo heritage and the story of Hanukkah, we are going to make this a story of freedom and liberation. Drawing from our own Universalist heritage, we are going to make this a story of hope for all people. Instead of just listening or watching the story this morning of the birth of Jesus, we are going to get inside of it. Try to forget that you have ever heard this story before, even though you'll recognize familiar characters, even though you remember the familiar plot. Try to hear this story as if it is the first time you've ever heard it. At various points throughout this morning, I am going to ask if some of you would be willing to come up here and play the parts of some of the characters in the story. Don't worry, you will not have to speak. When I pause and ask for volunteers to play parts in the story, if you want to participate, simply raise your hand, and I will call on you to take a part, and you will go to the back where our costume table is at, and you will be placed in a simple costume. And then our stage director will direct you where to stand on the chancel or what your directions are. Are you ready? Are you ready? Then let's begin. If you wish, just for a moment, close your eyes. Use your imagination. Transport yourself to another time and another place. Imagine that a story is going to unfold before your very eyes, a brand new story, one you have never heard before. Imagine after years and years of hearing stories about people bowing down before powerful kings, emperors, dictators, and tyrants, you finally hear a story in which three powerful, wise people kneel down alongside some shepherds before one tiny newborn child. Imagine that after years of hearing story after story telling of terrible war, you are at last hearing the friendly story of a baby. The story of a humble carpenter and his wife, the baby that is born to them in a stable, shepherds in a star-lit field who go to see the newborn child, and peaceful animals who gather round in the stable where the baby lies in the cow's feeding trough. Imagine that at last you are going to hear a story in which everyone is longing for peace on earth, goodwill to all persons everywhere. Imagine after years of hearing stories about the results of hatred and oppression and persecutions, you are finally hearing a story about the transforming power of love. Now, if your eyes are still closed, slowly open them. Take a deep breath. To start, I will need Caesar Augustus, the emperor of Rome, August. In those days, long, long ago, a decree went out from the emperor, Caesar Augustus, saying,
The world must be registered so that they can pay taxes to me.
So, because of the decree, I'm going to need two people. I'm going to need someone to volunteer to be Joseph, and I have Izzy that is going to be Mary, who is engaged to Joseph. If you'll both go, let's see, do I have a volunteer for Joseph? I need a volunteer for Joseph. Henley, go ahead. And you'll go back to the table. And while Joseph and Mary are preparing for their long trek, once you have your robes on, you'll please walk around the sanctuary. Miss April will show you what to do. They're going to be walking all around the sanctuary because they have a very, very long journey to go on. Oh, and this is the first scene of a starlit night. So could all of you raise your stars? And or if you don't have a star, you have twinkles. And you're going to become our starlit night. With Caesar Augustus' decree, all the people were required to go to the town where they had been born to register. And so Joseph and Mary are preparing. And we have all our stars twinkling in the night sky. Yes. Oliver, you look awesome. Thank you. Everybody does. It's a beautiful starlit night. For some people, the journey was a long journey. Joseph, a carpenter, had to go all the way from the town of Nazareth of Galilee in Galilee to Judea, the city of David. He went with Mary, the woman he was planning to marry, because she was expecting a child. They started on their long journey, traveling day and sometimes even by night, their road lit only by our stars. Joseph and Mary knew it was not going to be easy, with Mary almost ready to have her baby, but at least the twinkling stars made the road seem friendly. Let's help them with their travels. Please remain seated and twinkling, and join us in singing the first verse of O Little Town of Bethlehem. Thank you for the stars. Now that Joseph and Mary are in Bethlehem, we can put them down. When Joseph and Mary got to Bethlehem, they discovered that there was no room at the inn, but the inn was the only place in town with comfortable beds. The only place Mary and Joseph could find to take shelter was in a stable cut into the side of a hill. So they settled in to sleep among the animals. Now, I'm going to need some animals. I'm going to need 2 cows. You'll go back. I need another cow. Conrad. And I'm going to need a camel. How about you, Oliver? Head back to the table. The gentle animals welcomed Joseph and Mary into their stable, and that very night the time came for Mary to give birth. It was a stable, so when the baby was born, of course, there was no cradle. But one of the cows was kindly enough, and here come our cows. To lend Mary their feeding trough. Joseph and Mary laid their new baby down among the hay in the feeding trough. And now, of course, I'm going to need 4 shepherds. Ren? Yes. Go ahead, Nancy. Yes. And I need one more. Yes. Come on up. No? Then do it together. One of you can be a sheep and one of you can be a shepherd. Because I'm also going to need 4 sheep. So now I have 2 sheep. I need 2 more sheep. Go ahead. And 1 more sheep. Do I have someone that would like to be a sheep? How about Cassie? Would you like to be a sheep? No? That's okay. So, you and you, that's good.
Are you volunteering?
So you just volunteered, Bill.
Yes.
Bill, you're a sheep. Let's go. Never mind. He already has a part. And as they get ready to come up, here come our shepherds. Come on up, buddy. Actually, you're going to stand right down there on the floor. All the way down. All the way down. One more. You'll get to come up here, don't worry. So we have our sheep and we have our shepherds coming. In that region, there were shepherds who lived for months at a time in the fields, watching over their flocks of sheep by night. They had to watch over their sheep because there were wolves in the hills that would gladly eat a sheep if they could get one. Yeah, we need our shepherd to watch over our sheep. Very nice. Let's gather our sheep and our shepherds. Okay. Let's take a deep breath. Ready? On this night, as the shepherds stood watch in the fields, an angel of the Lord stood before them. And this angel was truly magnificent. And the glory of the God of the Israelites shone around the shepherds. Not surprisingly, the shepherds were terrified. But the angel spoke gently, saying unto them,
"Do not be afraid, for I have appeared to bring you good news of great joy for all of the people of Israel. To you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Messiah. This will be a sign to you. You will find a child wrapped in swaddling clothes lying in a manger."
Don't go anywhere. I see now that we are going to need lots of angels. Who would like to be an angel? Perhaps I could prevail on everyone in the congregation to stand for a moment as you're willing and able. Face the shepherds and the sheep and act as a host of angels. And if we have any children or adults who weren't sure they wanted a part, but now want to join the fun, please go back to our costume table and get your halo and come join us. Then the angel who had spoken went on to say,
Glory to God in the highest, and on earth let there be peace and goodwill for all people everywhere.
And there was a whole host of angels singing and praising their God, and the shepherds were amazed. Let us remain, you may sit, and let us join them in singing the first verse of Joy to the World. Upon hearing the message from their God and hearing the songs of the angel choir, the shepherds said to one another, "This is amazing! Let's go to Bethlehem and actually see the baby the first angel told us about." Being good shepherds who cared about their sheep, they brought the sheep along. So the shepherds went to Bethlehem with their sheep, and there they found Mary and Joseph. Oh, come up, angels, come up. Just as the angel had told them. Afterwards, the shepherds would tell everyone what the angel had said to them about Mary and Joseph's new baby, and everyone who heard the story was amazed. As for Mary, she already knew that her baby was wonderful. But she listened carefully to what the shepherds said, and she treasured their words in her heart. The shepherds and the sheep gathered around the manger, admiring the baby. That's weird. Yeah. They praised their God for this wonder of new birth, and they prayed and hoped that what the angel said would come true, that there would be peace on earth and goodwill for all people, even for lowly shepherds. Now I'm going to need 3 wise people who are also royalty. And after you get your crowns and your finery on in the back of the church, please begin slowly walking together up the aisle, stopping at the first row. Have Herod move over. Or they can go to Herod. Bill. As our wise people prepare, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem, the 3 wise persons who were kings and queens from the Far East came to Jerusalem. All these 3 wise persons traveled their long, slow journey to Bethlehem. It actually took 12 days. That's why we celebrate the 12 days of Christmas. They noticed that their way was lit by a large and bright star. And our star will begin to lead our kings and our wise people. Jackie, you can start heading up, friend. Our star in the night sky that the kings are following. Lovely. First, the wise people went to visit King Herod. And these 3 wise people went to Herod and asked, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star in the skies, and we have come to praise him and bring him gifts." The 3 wise persons learned from King Herod about a prophecy which had been spoken long, long ago, that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. So the wise persons set out for Bethlehem, and as they walked, they saw ahead of them the star as they had first seen it in the far east. Our star will lead our wise people. Let us help them along by singing together, "We 3 Kings," as we remain seated. Persons followed the star until it stopped over the stable where the newborn child was lying in the manger. When the wise persons entered the stable and saw the new baby, they were overwhelmed with joy at this new life. They knelt down to worship him, and they opened their bags and brought out gifts of gold, because the crowns of kings were made of gold, and frankincense and myrrh, which is used to anoint kings. Okay. So, now we're done. No. Let us pause. No, everybody hold your place. Hold your place. Let us pause in this moment. Look at the scene. It is a special night with stars and angels and shepherds and wise persons and animals. And they are all admiring a special baby that has just been born. Why would all of these people stand around for such a long time to admire a tiny new baby? There is only one reason I can think of, because the birth of a child always brings hope for the future. And for a people who lived under oppressive Roman rule, all the while longing for liberation, the birth of a child must have been filled with extra meaning. Will this be the child who leads us to freedom? Will this be the child who breaks our bonds of slavery and establishes a reign of peace, of righteousness? So it is in our world today, and a world that sometimes seems hopeless. We still look with hope to the future. Every time a child is born, we hope that this baby will be one of the ones who leads us into a world of social justice, equity, and righteousness. And every time we tell this Christmas story, it reminds us that we must go out and work for liberation and that justice. We, you and I and everyone in here, we are the ones who are responsible for making sure the world is a better place for all the babies that are born into it. As our cast of characters hold their places, I invite us all to rise in body or in spirit and join our voices together in singing Silent Night. You may be seated. As Rosie extinguishes our chalice this morning, let us open our ears and our hearts to the words of theologian Howard Thurman, The Work of Christmas. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among others, to make music in the heart. May it be so. Amen. Thank you. Let's give a hand to our actors and our volunteers. Our costumers will help you disrobe. I would like to invite you, as you think about this morning's pageant and you visit with your neighbors, to see to your comfort, to grab a quick drink, to say a fond hello, and then return here to the sanctuary as soon as possible for our congregational meeting, where we will be voting on important church matters that include social justice. May it be so. Thank you.